If you'd rather stay home with your dog than go out with people, psychology suggests you're not necessarily antisocial. You might be making a choice that aligns with how your nervous system actually functions. Let's paint a picture. It's Friday night. Your friends text, "Drinks tonight?" And without hesitation, you look at your dog and think, "I'm good here." Some people call that antisocial. Research offers a different perspective. Preferring your dog's company isn't necessarily about avoiding people. It's often about choosing a type of connection that involves less social friction, more behavioral consistency, and a different kind of emotional regulation. Let me break down 3 things research suggests about why some people genuinely prefer their dog's company over frequent socializing. Number 1. Social interaction requires cognitive resources, and recovery looks different for different people. Not everyone processes social stimulation the same way. Research in personality psychology distinguishes between introverts and extroverts based partly on how they respond to stimulation. When you're around people, your brain is actively working, processing facial expressions, managing social presentation, monitoring conversational cues. Even enjoyable socializing requires cognitive and emotional effort. With your dog, many of those demands disappear. You can be present without performing. No complex social navigation. No concern about misinterpretation. For some nervous systems, that's not avoidance, that's recovery. Attachment research suggests people develop different relational patterns based on early experiences. Those with more anxious or avoidant attachment styles may find human relationships require more effort to feel safe. Dogs offer a different attachment dynamic. Studies show companion animals can provide what researchers call a secure base, consistent, non-judgmental presence that helps regulate stress. When you stay home with your dog, you may not be avoiding connection. You may be choosing a form of connection that doesn't activate social anxiety or require emotional labor. Number 2. Dogs provide relatively unconditional social support, which is psychologically distinct. Here's a research-backed concept: contingent versus non-contingent support. Most human relationships involve some level of reciprocity. Friends expect mutual effort. Partners need emotional availability. Even positive relationships require maintenance and responsiveness. Dogs operate differently. Their attachment to you doesn't depend on your performance, mood, or social status. They respond to your presence, not your productivity. Research on human-animal interaction shows this type of relationship can reduce physiological stress markers like cortisol, particularly in people who experience high interpersonal stress or have histories of social rejection. Multiple studies indicate that pet ownership correlates with lower reported loneliness and higher perceived social support, though causation is complex. When you choose to stay home with your dog, you're accessing a relationship structure that doesn't require negotiation or self-monitoring, that has measurable psychological value. Number 3. Preference for limited socializing doesn't indicate pathology. It often reflects informed social selectivity. Here's a common misconception. Preferring your dog's company means you dislike people or lack social skills. Research doesn't support that interpretation. Studies on social selectivity show that people, particularly introverts and highly sensitive individuals, often function better with fewer, deeper relationships rather than broad social networks. This isn't social deficit, it's social efficiency. As people develop self-awareness, they often become more protective of their social energy. They reduce participation in relationships that feel draining or performative. They prioritize depth over breadth. Your dog fits into this framework. They provide connection without overstimulation, companionship without social complexity, presence without expectation. Research on introverts shows they often thrive with 1 or 2 close relationships plus regular solitude. That's not dysfunction. That's how their nervous system regulates optimally. Dogs complement that pattern well. Here's what the research suggests. When you prefer staying home with your dog, you may be choosing nervous system regulation over stimulation, accessing a rare form of non-contingent support, being selective with social energy, in a way that protects psychological well-being. This doesn't necessarily indicate social problems. It may indicate self-awareness about what genuinely helps you function. That said, if this preference comes with distress, severe isolation, or inability to maintain necessary relationships, that's worth examining with a mental health professional. But for many people, it's simply a preference that works. So when someone suggests you're, quote, becoming a hermit, you can recognize that as their framework, not necessarily yours. Connection isn't one size fits all. Sometimes the healthiest choice looks quiet from outside, but aligns exactly with how you're wired. Your dog doesn't judge that. And research increasingly supports it.